You really have to set up every time for like some grandiose intro.
Look, our listeners and viewers, they have expectations.
Do they?
I would imagine so. What else are they going to get from us?
So, what expectations do you think people have of us?
That we, like we said before in our intro, I guess you're going to put that in there again, that we're banterers. And that they need to see our face in many angles.
So, how does a banterer need to have his face shown
They don't.
or their
But
face shown?
Brad, there are multiple expectations our viewers have of us. One of which is going to be that we banter. The other is going to be that I make these transitions seamless. The other is going to be seeing our beautiful faces every time we interact with one another. They have expectations. The other is that we look exactly the same all the time. You wear glasses, I wear glasses. You're bald, I'm bald. We're both beautiful people. You have a weird hoodie on, though. Thing's weird looking. The double strings, that's just dumb.
Every hoodie has double strings. What do you?
Like that.
Who
Like
has one string?
Not the double loops. The double loops, dude. The double loops.
Okie dokie.
Looks weird. And it's like a mock. Is it a turtleneck, too? Jesus.
A mock turtleneck.
Jesus Christ.
What?
Thing looks hideous.
I mean, you go out of your way to be a hater. It's truly what's disappointing.
Did you know that Jeremy means hater in Spanish? Now you do.
Jeremy,
Bradford.
I feel now is an appropriate time to welcome everybody to welcome everybody to the Briggity Bro Bobs.
Bro Bobs. I think I'm done.
Holy smokes.
Done. We're wiping it. It's a transition.
Who did you hear that?
I did. Are you drinking death water?
Nope.
What are you drinking? A Coca-Cola?
I had to turn him down for a sponsorship last week.
Oh, bullshit.
And I'm moving on to our next potential sponsor, Poppy.
Poppy? Is that how you're getting through with your lack of soda, is drinking carbonated drinks?
Well, I just started this, so I've been on a water kick. I've gone an entire week with no soda.
That's fantastic, Brad.
For an addiction, I'd say that's cold turkey. Oh my God, your face is frozen. Oh my God. Tell me I don't have to look at this in perpetuity. Oh, you're back.
I was looking at you in perpetuity as well. And this is... I got you.
Wow.
I got you so good. You thought I was frozen again.
Are you done, Jeremy?
Yeah, I guess so.
So, as I was saying, I've quit soda cold turkey. And Poppy has helped me in innumerable ways. It's flavorful. I'll tell you the disappointing part, though. It does have 25 calories. So I think like my old go-to, my old vice of choice, Canada Dry ginger ale. So Canada Dry, don't bother reaching out because I've quit you cold turkey. I think they're like a 12-ounce can. It's 120 calories. So basically I get 5 of these. Like I can just who was it Levi introduced me to? Badland chugs these like a son of a gun.
He's the son of a gun?
You've never seen you don't know Badland chugs?
I don't know Badland chugs.
Let me try my delicious Poppy cherry limeade. Delightful.
Jesus Christ, Brad.
That's good. It's a Hold on. Wait. Let me get back to this because I'm going to tell you about Badland Chugs. Poppy, be gut happy. Be gut healthy. Limeade, a prebiotic soda.
Prebiotic.
Oh, yeah. Only 5 grams of sugar or less. These bubbles with benefits will benefit your
So that's a
new
soda.
25 calories. It's like Diet Coke.
Still a soda.
Haven't you ever heard Trump say Diet Coke is? Well, I think at one point he said only fat people drink Diet Coke, but you always see him drinking Diet Coke.
Well, I mean, he only weighs 200 pounds or 210 pounds or whatever it was that his doctor said.
I did drink an Essentia water the other day, and Kira and Stephanie just went to town because it was filled all the way to the brim, and they said I was drinking it like this. Like Donald Trump when he was.
Do
you remember that?
Yeah, I think you have an infatuation with this dude.
What
Donald
dude?
Trump. Donald
Trump. This said Donald Trump.
It's Donald Trump.
Well, now that we've got the advertisements out of the way, we're free to meander and banter however we see feel.
So, can I bring on an advertiser next time?
If it's approved by me, sure.
Fuck off. I'm just gonna do it.
I don't think Ben & Jerry's meets our demographic. Maybe it does meet our demographic.
I think. Well, look, I was gonna do chocolate milk. Maybe Yoo-hoo. Yoo-hoo.
Yeah.
Chocolate drink.
They must have sponsored. What is it? The Good Guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you had a Yoo-hoo in a while?
No, I've never had a Yoo-hoo.
I recommend it.
Okay. Well, I would recommend Poppy. Kira said that Caitlin Toohey is sponsored by Poppy.
A soda. That's probably why, Bradford.
Why what? Because of
nationals. She's drinking sodas.
Prebiotic soda.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. She's sponsored. She doesn't have to worry about it anymore. All She's like, I'm a billionaire already.
Oh, wait. So let me get in, because I was talking about Badland Chugs.
Oh, yeah.
So you should look them up on TikTok. I'm not really ever on TikTok. So were you not able to watch those videos I sent you?
What videos?
Exactly. Okay.
Like I think I have TikTok. I don't even know how to. I don't know that I've logged on. I don't know. Like I think I have a TikTok account. I couldn't tell you the last time I logged on.
You're definitely frozen.
I don't ever look at TikTok. Sorry, but Badland Chugs. I'm writing it down right now as we speak. Badland.
So and I'm going to tie this all in just like last week with the North Korean basketball rules.
Oh yeah.
Watch me weave a story here.
Oh, watching.
Watch me weave. So, joined a gym last week.
Oh, you did?
And it's a gym in like it's an athletic club. So they've got a bar in there. You can buy food, drinks.
You're so bougie.
It's not nearly as bougie as you would think. So, but it looks like they bought all of their treadmills at garage sales. So it's the most random happenstance. Yeah, there's no two.
Look, garage sales in $1 million estate houses.
Poppy's talking to me. Better than last week, though. So when I had the poop break.
Oh, yeah.
So Badland Chug. So Levi and I go in there. Levi's ellipticizing next to me like a son of a gun. And then there was there's golf simulators in there. And everybody that's in the golf simulators is always getting beers delivered. And there was these two young kids, and Levi and I get in the car after going to the gym. And he goes, "Hey, Daddy, did you see those guys just chugging beer?" And I go, "No, like, what are you talking about?" He's like, they were buying the biggest beers I've ever seen. They were huge. They were like Homer Simpson bar style beers. And I go, yeah, I saw those. They were pitchers. I said, you take that pitcher and you pour it into a smaller cup, Levi. And he goes, they were just straight chugging out of those big cups. And then he goes, they're straight going Badland chugs. And so then he started introducing me to these Badland chugs videos. Come home, Stephanie's like, or Kira's like, oh, Badland chugs, that guy's so great. He is the nicest voice I've ever heard. And so I got sucked down this rabbit hole of Badland chugs. And then Stephanie's like, well, this gym sounds pretty cool. Like, they're serving beer. And I said, yeah, they got a steam room. They've got, like a whole cardio area.
Nude steam room?
A nude steam room?
Yeah,
I suppose it could be. It's in the men's locker room.
Oh, nice.
So, and then it's not like a co-ed steam room in the men's locker. They have a women's steam room and a men's locker room.
Ruined it.
And so the next day, Stephanie, myself, and Levi go. And I'm ellipticizing because I'm still recovering from my knee surgery, if you didn't know. And I look over, and Levi's just blasting on a treadmill next to Stephanie's, like, power walking up a hill. And Levi's just Rocky Balboa style down the beach training to fight Apollo Creed. And out of nowhere, I see this, like, him. What?
You were frozen. Your face was...
So did you hear anything that I just said?
I heard. That's all I heard.
Yeah, he was running like he was a Rocky montage before he fights Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, just out of the corner of my eye, I see like him try to grab the rail, and then it spins him around, and he immediately like sits down and gets jettisoned off of the treadmill. It was the wildest thing I've ever seen. And there was people on other treadmills and ellipticals, and everybody's just like
Dude,
no one
wanted video of that.
Yeah, no one knew what to do, and I'm just on the elliptical, hunched over, dying laughing, just out loud laughing. And then Stephanie's mad at me because I'm just rip roaring laughing.
Did she rush over to him to console him? Was he fine?
Oh, he was perfectly fine, yeah. So,
yeah.
Little rug burn, but that never hurt nobody.
I don't know. One time I wrestled a buddy in high school and I gave him rug burn on his forehead. I got him down and I was just like rubbing his forehead all over the rug. He was so pissed off because the rest of
I wonder why.
He had this big like stab on his forehead.
So what, did he just wear a headband?
No, he couldn't. It was in school. We weren't allowed to wear anything like that. So he's walking around with this big freaking burn on his forehead.
I imagine he could wear like the Mr. Miyagi headband, right? With the Land of the Rising Sun?
No. What?
Why?
What do you mean, why? We had a dress code.
What if he was balding like Vince Neil?
I don't know.
He always wears
Brett.
a headband.
I don't, Brett. I would imagine they would still say no. Anyway, he had this big burn on his forehead, and he was pretty pissed. So
I imagine they make exceptions.
I don't know for rug burned foreheads.
Religious? I know, but religious.
Well, sure. Like, you can't say.
What?
Why are you? I'm just saying, Brad. They didn't make an exception for his rug burn head.
I would honestly write a note and say,
like his parents, please allow.
Yeah, he's converted. He's converted to Islam. Please accept him. Well, he's giving it a test run.
That's right. Yeah,
I think that would be. I mean, they couldn't say no.
I mean, they couldn't. I don't know that the parents would have done that. They're pretty upstanding citizens. They're good people.
So what
Better
did
than
they
I
think of you?
well, they had to have known how it started. That their
Mm,
son was trying to wrestle me, and I wasn't having any of it. Got him down,
okay.
forehead burn.
Well, this next section is brought to you by Poppy.
I don't
Mm,
have anything to drink. Hold
let's
on.
go into the.
Talk, Brad.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear
You can hear me now?
you now.
All right. So let's go over. You and I have had next to no training here of late. I mean,
No,
it's been downright pathetic.
it truly has. There's no real reason for me not to be training, except for I'm just really busy. But that's no excuse. I have been sick this week. This past 4 days, I'm finally
Yep.
kind of on the other side of it. Really sick, vomit, but sick. So
So I want to
yeah,
go over what we're doing now. So we've essentially hit the reset button.
we have to.
So we've hit the reset button. We've got a 10K December 17th.
Mhm.
And then I would hope that we can get into our regularly scheduled training schedules for the half marathon.
I think so because we have enough time to get back into it between the 10K and the half. Right? If
Yep.
we can just get a couple of weeks in before the 10K, because we have
Yep.
a month. If we can get a solid 2 or 3 weeks in before that, that gives us a good springboard into building back up to the half marathon. So I'm
Okay.
excited about that.
And so I want to talk about what we're doing to hit reset, make sure that as we're approaching the marathon, that we're not making exception after exception after exception.
Yeah, we can't do that.
And then I also want to talk about the merits of a turkey trot.
Okay. I think that's good. I think we should talk about the
And
merits.
then we'll wrap it up with the NCAA recap. Division One
NCAA
recap.
Division One and NCAA Division One recap.
Yep. So,
Okay.
Jeremy, after hitting the reset button, I guess you're hitting the reset button again. You started running for a couple of days and then you started puking for a few days.
Dude, yeah, it was miserable. It was truly miserable. Apparently some kind of virus went through my school and just ripped it up. Probably 30% of the kids were missing. At one point, I think 15 teachers were gone. And in my school, was super small. So, fortunately, Katie and Elliot did not get whatever was going around, but I was just puking my guts out for the better part of a day. Today was the first day I've actually eaten anything legitimate since last Thursday. So I lost a little bit of weight. I was down to 194.
That's a
So
good
that
way
was
to
good.
do it.
It was.
Dehydration and fasting.
I think, and I know you're gonna say this is stupid, Brad, but I think for me to get back into it, I've got to have a legitimate training plan, and that training plan is gonna be like I said last week before I got sick. I'm gonna streak.
So I think streaking is dumb. I don't think training plans are bad. I personally don't like the pressure of training plans when whether it's a book, Jack Daniels running formula or something from Brad Hudson or this and that, where anytime you want to do something else, then you feel like you're throwing a loop into the training plan or you're not meeting the merits of the training plan. And, in particular in my mid 40s, I just don't need the stress. I like the structure of knowing that I'm moving in the right direction, but I don't like the rigidity of the structure that I feel like if I miss a day or I cross train on a day or I skip a workout, that then I feel like that entire week is blown out the door.
But even if you follow a plan, you can always be flexible with that plan. If let's say you're supposed to have you're out there and it's a Saturday and you're supposed to go out and do 18 miles and you get to 8 miles and it's just not the day for you. Call it a day and it's okay. You just have to. I think having a plan is good, but being able to say to yourself that today is just not the day for me is good too. So having both. And the whole streaking thing is not me getting naked and running down the street. It's 20 minutes a day at minimum. So I can do that. I can do 20 minutes a day. That gives me something to like know that I'm better than you at, because you're going to take a day off. So it's already like a feather in my cap, and I'm happy about that.
So, but you started streaking last week and you made it like a day.
I know. But I can start again. That's the wonderful thing about streaks. Once they end, they start again. The next time you go for a run, that's the first day of the streak. It's great. I don't think I've ever gone more than like, I don't know, 55 or 60 days in a row.
I do think it would be an incredible challenge to see if you could streak for an entire year.
I think if you get to a year, like there's no way you stop at a year. You don't just like, I'm going to stop at
You think?
365. Yeah. I think I've known a couple of streakers. This one guy, Paul, he's a maniac. He went for like 13 years in a row, like some crazy
I
number.
mean, that can't be good for you because inevitably you're going to be sick.
Yeah.
Like there's going
Just
to
get out
be.
there and just throw it down.
I know, but then there's no way that, like your body needs recovery. So there's no way that you're not setting it farther back.
It does need recovery, but if you just go out for 20 minutes at, probably a nice, easy 6 or 7 minute pace,
Okay,
then
so
you're
you were throwing up on Saturday. Do you think you could have gotten up and run 20 minutes?
probably, but I would have puked on myself at some point in time during that run. So
And
that
what is the qualifier for streaking?
I think you have to get in. I think a mile is what if you want to like register on the streaking website at some point in time, it has to be a mile. I think. So yeah,
That seems better than 20 minutes.
yeah, but I'm better than that.
Oh, right. I can tell. Because
Yeah.
the last streak last week went so well.
Look, I did 4 miles, so that was like 4 days worth of streaking. That's how I look at it.
That doesn't seem difficult. Granted, that's quite the feat from where we've come from in the last couple of months.
I know. No, I don't know. I think will there be challenges? Yes, but like anything, like you have to just kind of like go with the flow. That means I have to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go get my run in. Then fuck it, 2 o'clock it is.
I can't wait to see this.
That morning run's going to be sponsored by Canada Dry, ginger
Blackberry
ale,
ginger ale.
blackberry, and
Is that a 2-liter you're pounding? Oh my God.
I haven't had any of this yet. Elliot's been polishing this off, but
Oh my God.
I can't even do it. This is so. Delicious, refreshing, very blackberry forward, I would say. Think Canada Dry.
Did you all
Sponsor.
drink the rest of my? I already told you we can't have a Canada Dry ginger.
You can't. I can. I think
We're gonna have competing sponsors.
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? This sponsorship goes to Jeremy. That sponsorship goes to Bradford.
So it's
You can have
basically
Poppy.
NIL deals.
Yeah, you can have Poppy. I'll have Canada Dry. I wonder who's got more money.
Yeah, listen, they're investing into a dead person. Good news, guys. This sponsorship should only last about 3 months before he pops.
No, what is your plan to get back on your feet?
Well, one, joining the gym. So paying money always helps with fitness.
I think there are lots of gyms who would beg to differ. There
Planet
are lots
Fitness.
of gyms. Planet Fitness, One Life Fitness, any membership that's not like $150 a month. Like if you're just spending $20 a month or $30 a month, and you don't really see it coming out of your bank. Your bank. Like people are like, I'll go next time.
Or it's impossible to cancel.
Brad, you're stuck again. Jesus, your interwebs is awful. Okay, I see you now. Why is it your basement?
No, I'm pretty sure it's your internet because I saw you talking the whole time and was moving.
That's because my internet is working.
No,
Yours is not.
I think you'll see on the playback that this is 100% your issues.
Pretty sure not. My router is right there. There's no way it's my internet.
So what am I doing? One, paying money. Like that's a surefire way to just fitness through the roof.
Yes, that's the cheat. Pay
Yep.
money, get fit.
It's the cheat code. Yep. So join a gym. I'm going to utilize said gym. I've been
Okay,
lifting every day. I didn't
I can
lift
tell.
on I didn't lift on Sunday. No, I
What do
did
you
lift
think
on
about?
Sunday.
Do you think I can get the same benefits by doing body weight stuff?
Yeah.
So I don't want to go to a gym. All right, deal. Done.
But I think it
Streak.
would need to be more plyometric based than just like
Sure.
air squats.
No, I get it. I can do box jumps and stuff here.
I don't
Do
even
all
think you need to do box jumps, but
Dude, I want to get my vert back up. I want to get my vert up to like 38 inches. Do you know how fast I'll
that
be if
should
I can?
help with distance running. You're just
But I can push forward, not just up, like forward. So then my stride
so you're gonna fit.
length, my
You're
stride length will become like 3 to 7 meters.
right, and instead of 180 steps per minute, it's gonna be 6.
Yeah, and that's less energies.
Seems like a lot of energy.
That's not how my math works, Brad.
So I've been lifting uh more often. Like I would like to have a goal uh that the days that I can't run, that I can like still improve my overall fitness.
Good.
So,
I think that works.
and then I think in the short term, because I'm still have some swelling in my knee and some piriformis issues in my left leg, cross training like a son of a gun.
Yep. Are you still
So I'm
doing
going,
physical therapy?
yeah, yep. So I would like to. I mean, I could be the next. I might be the Parker Valby of the rock and roll half marathon.
Dude, she's run faster for 6K than we've ever run for 6K.
Pretty impressive. But we're getting ahead of ourselves, Jeremy.
I could probably beat her in 100.
So no streaking, but I would like to add more consistently to my fitness, even on the days that I can't run. Whether it's lifting weights, just doing some type of cardio.
Has your, outside of not drinking sodas, has your diet changed?
Well, day one of saying this is it, no more soda. I was in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Beautiful city. Beautiful. Went to Olive Garden
Without me?
and did a soup and salad combo, all you can eat,
Oh, Jesus, Brad.
with a water.
Okay. How much did you eat of the soup and salad?
I ate an entire bowl of salad,
That's a lot of salad, dude.
4 breadsticks, and then
Okay.
like half a bowl of they've got a new soup on the menu. Pretty tasty. Chicken gnocchi.
Okay. Gnocchi's
Nice.
good.
It
If it's done well.
it was pretty heavy, but I enjoyed it. It was so heavy it basically turned into just like a dip for the breadsticks.
Oh, that's a way to do it, though. I'm a big fan of that.
Fire.
Total fire.
Badland chugs.
I got to check it out as soon as we're done.
And so now on to the merits of turkey trots, brought to you by Poppy.
And
So are you running a turkey trot this year, Jeremy?
this will be the first year I haven't in a long time.
Why aren't you running one?
So we've had some unfortunate family happenings go on, and like Thanksgiving is just going to be a lot different this year. So we're playing it by ear and not making any specific plans. So just not going to do it this year. Hang out with family instead, which is, part of the turkey trot. But no, I'm not. What about you, Brad?
Another year, another turkey trot.
And how many years in a row is this for you, bud?
Ooh. Since we've been in back in Akron or Northeast Ohio, we've run it every year. So I think this is 6 years of turkey trots.
Very good.
So, but I've done turkey. I've been pretty somewhat sporadic, but even when I've been out of shape, I did turkey trots at my in-laws' house when they lived in Palm Coast. One of them, no big deal. One my age group. Yep. And then first race that I ever had success in was a turkey trot in elementary school. Won my age group, which at the time I thought was just I was an Olympic level runner, and I wore a pair of cross trainers, didn't even have running shoes.
Oh yeah.
And finishing my, my dad took me down to the turkey trot, and he's like, I'm pretty sure you just won your age group. And they called my name, and I got the, the medal, first place. Yeah. And I was like, man, this is pretty awesome. This sport's pretty easy. So here we are.
There we are.
I'm guessing, how old would I have been? I was probably 9, 10 years old.
Okay. I just saw a video of a boy who's 9, who apparently holds the world record at 17:30. Did you think you ran that?
I can guarantee you I didn't run that.
That's so stupid fast.
I'm pretty sure I ran 15:30, and they just weren't recording records for 9-year-olds back then.
You're right. Probably much faster.
Yeah.
Dude, 17:30 is stupid fast for a 9-year-old.
So what I think is awesome about turkey trots?
What's that?
One, there's such a mix. It is, I would say, the one competitive race where it's 100% acceptable for 60% of the race to just walk.
Oh, for sure. It's so cool. And it's like a family thing. You get people out there who maybe only run one time a year. They don't train for it. Don't do 100%. Anything. They come out there. They have their turkey costumes on. They're like just a family doing that stuff. Yeah.
I tell you what, I do this every single year. It makes me feel so much better as I just blow through 14 plates of Thanksgiving meals.
That's their motivation to go out and eat hard, man.
It is, yeah. So I love that aspect of it. And I think what I like on top of that it's just it seems like the best social running event that there is, because everybody hangs out for a little longer. Yep. Everybody's there early. Everybody's bundled up, in particular in this area. And then the front of the races are always absolutely burners. Dude, because every college and high school kid comes out, they come back into town. I remember coming back home from Winthrop for Thanksgiving break, showing up to the turkey trot, and for as competitive as regionals, NCAA regionals, or our conference meet, this seemed like it was even more competitive from a fun aspect.
Yeah, I remember a kid came back. He ran at Colorado when they won the national championship. He was like a sub-30 kid from this area, and he just threw down. Nobody's touching him right now. It's just holy shit. But there's so many people out here who are going so fast. So your turkey trot, what's the distance? We have 2 here that are pretty local.
Yeah, they say it's a 4 mile. It never is a 4 mile. I think it typically always registers in at 3.5.
Gotcha. So everybody feels real good about themselves. Once you run your 4 miler in 22 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think that I've never heard anybody talk about time per mile or anything. It's literally the front of the race, I would argue, it's got to be one of the fucking fastest turkey trots in the country.
That would be some interesting data.
Yeah. To find. It was last year or the year before. I'm pretty sure. No, it was 2 years ago. I know I've told you this story, but I was standing in the turkey trot. Kira's running it with me. all of my then family's a couple rows behind us. And there's a kid standing next to me, and he's talking about, I saw him wearing a John Carroll shirt, which is a tiny Division III school here in Northeast Ohio. And he's talking about, my coach told me that I need to make this a recovery run, so I'm going to try to go out like the first couple of miles, maybe 5:30 pace, and then the last mile I'm just going to see if I can't break 4 minutes in the mile for the last mile. And I thought, like, this is some blowhard. Like, this would have been me coming home, like, just talking mad shit in line. And then I looked over and I was like, oh, that dude just broke the Division III NCAA record for cross country. So speaking of said Alex Phillip, he won 17-time All-American Division III.
Don't sleep on those D3 guys.
No, Division III national record holder. I think he's like a 5-time national champion, 2-time in cross country, back-to-back cross country champion, which is insane at any level.
Yeah.
And before I get into what he's done this year, I looked up his high school times. I'll preface this. So he transferred. So this year he transferred from UNC, or from John Carroll to UNC. So he went all the way up to Division I.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of interested to see how he then, like, how good is the best Division III runner against the best runners in the country.
Yeah.
Finished 17th at nationals for
Jeez.
UNC. So an easy All-American. Top 40 is All-American. Just like was in the race the entire time. If you watch the NCAA championships, you see him in pretty much every picture until that last 2K when the race kind of just imploded. Yeah. And so looked up his high school times. He's a Clevelander. He went to a tiny little school here, St. Vincent St. Mary, home of LeBron James, ironically. 428 as a senior in 1600, which to me does not translate to NCAA All-American.
Not at all.
Like, that is just insane. High school cross-country time is senior year, PR of like 1612.
Not bad, but again, that's like, okay, you see that every day.
Oh my God, those kids are a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
Like an absolute dime a dozen to go to NCAA Division III record holder and an first year at John Carroll, he was an All-American in cross country. I think he finished 12th his freshman year.
So what changed? Like,
I don't know.
Probably
don't know. I mean, maybe he actually took it seriously. Maybe he wasn't training full time in high school. I mean, maybe he just matured. Like, could be a million things.
Strange things happen.
So, but it gives, I think the cool aspect of that is if you can find a home to run, I always say this about running, it's the ultimate participation sport. The more you participate, just inherently, the better you're going to be.
Yeah.
And that is the epitome of it. Like, that guy, I have a hard time believing he's going to find a Division I home with his high school times.
Right.
He runs Division III, puts in a monster 4 years, 17-time All-American. Before he became All-American this year in Division I is crazy. Insane. And then goes and proves it at the highest level.
That's right. So is he done then? Or is he still?
I believe he has a track season, indoor and outdoor track season.
Very good.
I'm assuming I'll see him at the turkey trot here.
Good luck.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to take it out, Brad. You're gonna have to take it out hard.
Yeah. So speaking of NCAA championships, did you have a chance to watch the men's and women's?
I did.
So while we're already on men's, that was the fucking fastest looking race I've ever seen.
Dude, the first, I was looking at, now it said it changed over at a K at like 222, but it ended up being like 229.
228.
That's sub 4-minute mile pace for the first K of a 10K. That's on
It,
cross country. I know it was
it was
downhill.
all downhill, yeah.
I get that, but still, that's fucking crazy fast. And Nico Young, like, just looked like he was balls out.
Well, it looked like he was on the struggle bus from the gun.
Yeah.
And one of the other things that I was blown away with in the men's race, one, how fast it was. Like, that was the biggest takeaway for me. Two, that looked like one of the most difficult, like, championship caliber cross country courses I've ever seen. So to finish that last hill looked like an absolute meat grinder to get to the finish straight.
Oh, absolutely.
And that finish straight only looked about 50 meters after you went up a quarter-mile hill.
That's it. That was crazy.
So then third point, I'm not sure which one is more important to me, that point 3 or 4. So I'll call it a tie. 1 or 3 or 4, so call it whichever one.
Okay.
The number of people that were starting and then stopping their watches. On the start line, you saw dudes literally just staying like this, like ready to go, and then going out like bats out of hell, which I don't know what. I mean, they have to be badasses to be at the NCAA championships.
Yeah, right.
But who the fuck is starting a watch in a cross-country race?
Like, there's no purpose to it. You have no idea where.
Like, are they throwing it onto Strava?
I guess, but like that's still like I would never, if I was the coach, I'd be like, guys, I don't want to see a watch. Take them off.
Well, at the NCAA championships, there's times posted everywhere. You don't like, it's basically a track meet.
Calling out times to you.
Right, that's what I mean.
Everywhere, dude.
Yes.
Like,
so that blew me away. And then the amount of carnage, both in the men's and the women's race, to get over the finish line. I don't remember another NCAA championship. You know, like there was 20 Cooper Tiers crawling over the finish line. That one dude, they literally picked him up.
Yeah, he couldn't even make it across. They picked him up and just carrying him across.
That surprised me in the fact that they didn't even give him an opportunity to roll. Like
I think he was done.
They literally just came immediately over. You know, like that dude went down, and there was a guy struggle busing going sideways about 20 meters behind him.
Yeah.
Right. That dude went down, and they pretty much immediately went out. Like the dude, maybe it was super. It obviously seemed like he went to the absolute extreme, but they treated him like he died right there.
Well, apparently it was hot, so that or warm for that time of year for that race is what they said. So maybe they're concerned.
I would like to look up the weather, because everybody out there was wearing sweatshirts. Like, I didn't see anybody in tank tops other than the racers. And I know it's a 10K, so it's a little bit longer, but everybody that's there is trained enough.
No, I don't disagree.
People like the heat, like the heat component, I just don't believe it. So granted, most years it's like snowing at these things.
Yeah, it's like negative 40 degrees.
Everything is warm when the guys can actually just like don't even have to wear gloves.
Right.
But I think some of the guys were wearing gloves even.
I don't remember. But yeah, I don't know. Look, they're just trying to talk. Right? They have to fill time. They have to fill like space. So they're just talking. Maybe it just felt warm to them. They were next to a heater perhaps. And that's why it felt hot. I don't know.
So first Ivy League champion ever, Graham Blanks.
Yeah.
What an amazing race he ran.
What's an amazing year that guy's had.
Undefeated.
Right? Undefeated. Dude, I kept watching him and just thinking how smooth he looked. And like nobody, like he got mentioned a couple of times at the beginning, but then like it seemed like he kind of got forgot because he was just there. Like he wasn't pushing, he wasn't doing any of that stuff. He was just chilling out. And then they're like, oh, well, this guy's still here. Watch out for his kick. And then away he goes.
Did you notice the two Oklahoma State? So is Dennis Kipnetich and fouled Masudi. So they ended up finishing 4th and 10th, the top two runners for Oklahoma State. But they the race really, it was a pack of, I think it was like a pack of 34, 40 people for a good portion of the race. And then the race just opened up. And it went from like 34 to about maybe 7 or 9 people that were actually in the race. And you saw a group, the kid from Stanford, Kai Robinson.
No, I like that guy too.
So Kai Robinson then started like really stringing out that opening group. And the kid, Graham Blanks from Harvard, like literally just stuck on his hip. And I've never seen this before. The course was so wide, and the Oklahoma State guys were barely in the frame of the picture. They were so far off to the side. I just don't understand from a racing perspective what they were doing. Like it was weird.
Tangents.
Did you see it? It was like alarmingly weird.
It's just tangent. Maybe they just didn't want to be in the picture. They wanted to surprise people. Like, hey, hey.
So,
hey.
So then from a team perspective, NAU, I wouldn't say got blown out, but they got beat pretty handedly by Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
so, and you and I then both came from the exact same the exact same college with the exact same coach. Do you have any take on Oklahoma State winning over NAU? Like, did something just feel different to you about it?
I don't know. I don't know. They just came and were ready. I don't know. I don't know. Like,
so
I couldn't myself. I think I never did a race like that. But
this is my point. Not that Oklahoma State won. They 100% deserve to win. When you put 5 people in the top 15, they had 6 people, I believe, in the top 20. That is an absolutely insane, like, I don't know how many times there's been a winner under 75 points.
I don't know, man. It was just, I mean, they were just tough. They were always there. You just saw them always there. They could just there.
So my point is why it felt like, for me personally, it felt weird, is it looked like they just recruited every East African that could come over and run fast. And so their team was almost completely different from last year's team. And it was all just recruiting East African, just badass runners, where NAU every single year grooms like a group of 25 runners. So, and does NAU bring over, like, I know they had an Irish national champion, a kid from Ireland that won the national championships, one of the years that they won a team national championship on top of that. So, but I don't like it. Just seemed like a recruiting factory overseas, as opposed to, what NAU typically looks like. What?
You were stopped again. You were frozen. I don't know. You're sounding an awful lot like, I can see you now, like Paxton.
So that did never cross your mind as you were watching this?
It did, but sometimes in order to build a program back to what you want it to be, you've got to do some work ahead of time so that you can say, hey, look, we're successful. Come and be successful with us. I think NAU gets so much attention because they are such a good program and the coach is so good that other programs are overshadowed. And not that, Oklahoma State doesn't deserve it, but they just need to put themselves back in the headlines again. I mean, that could be a motivation to go out and get some recruits from elsewhere to get your name back on the top, so people want to come back to you.
So if you were one of the top high school runners in the country, where would you go now? So Alabama builds their program the exact same way. You've got Oklahoma State building it like that. Arkansas builds their program like that.
I'll tell you where I would go. It was always a dream of mine, but it was never going to happen with Stanford. Always wanted to go to Stanford. Academically, I would never have made it, and athletically, obviously, I would never have made it. But just Stanford.
So this is a wild tangent and sidebar, yet commingled or interrelated with this. Do you think it's then like cheap to just go over and recruit like the best foreign runners?
Do I think it's cheap? I don't know. I mean, what's the purpose of NCAA? What's the purpose of collegiate sports?
What is the purpose of NCAA sports?
Yeah.
Well, funny you should ask this, Jeremy. I
Your
I
your answer
happen to
sponsored.
I happen to have been to a Hall of Fame induction for Winthrop University's first Big South Conference champion team, where we sat down with Mark Emmert as the keynote speaker for the Hall of Fame introduction
Okay.
that I happen to be a part of, and he said, if you gave me, this was just kind of at the fringe of when athletes were really complaining about not being paid, that the NCAA is this giant monopoly and taking advantage of, in particular, football, basketball players.
Yeah.
They're bringing in all of this revenue. And if you remember at the time, you could only work as much as a full ride is. So if you were on a full ride, you couldn't even get a job to put any extra money in your pocket. So the
Yeah.
full ride was the extent until the summer of what money you could earn. And so, college campuses would see football players that come from poverty stricken areas that couldn't even go to Dinkins Student Union and buy a pizza outside of their food pass because there was no money to be used.
Yeah.
And so Mark Emmert, the president of NCAA, said, he kind of brought up this topic of what is the NCAA, et cetera. And he said, look at our graduation rate. So NCAA athletics brings in however many billions of dollars. He said, so if you take a look at all of the students across America, if you said, well, if you could take an investment of $80 billion and get a graduation rate of 87%, so don't quote me on the percentages of graduation rate, but it was some astronomical number of graduation rate versus the normal students that aren't NCAA student athletes at a graduation rate of 42%. So I can over double it with this investment. He goes, that seems like a pretty good use in time that the NCAA invests into its student body. People get caught up all the time in that, there's this millionaire in the making in football, but 99.9% of student athletes are just, they're rowing teams, cross
Football
country
players aren't
runners.
going pro. Like most of them aren't
The
going
majority
pro.
of them, correct. Yeah. So swimming, diving, gymnastics,
Yep.
like sports that have no financial
Fencing,
value post
like
collegiately.
all kinds of stuff.
So I thought it was an interesting take. So what is the point of NCAA athletics? Like a competitive ground that grooms, like dare I say the future leaders of America?
There you say it. Like
Dare
so
I
what
say it?
so like how like so our school brought over for our sailing team. Our sailing team's actually really, really good at my high school. A guy from Italy who's like number one ranked for his age group in the world, right? Like just crazy good. And it's because all these teams, like he was academically not going to be able to do anything, but because he's number one in the world, they were bringing him over to go to like Stanford, perhaps to go and sail, um, so they could be competitive. I don't know. Like you have to want kids to come to your school. And look,
So, but is that kid going to graduate? And I'm not saying everybody that goes to
probably
Oklahoma State.
probably not.
Really?
Probably
So
like
he's
I don't
not
know
a
that
good student?
I don't think he's not he does English was very hard for him.
Okay.
And to go to a super selective school that has super high rigor in its academics and expectations and all that stuff, I don't know that he would have been able to maintain the academics to continue on.
Okay.
I think he would have ended up having academic issues, not athletic issues.
So I'm sure this is some like deep-seated bias that's probably just set into me from being at Winthrop for 5 years, where, like it was pounded into us, like USA running, USA running,
Yeah.
USA running. Anybody that's doing it another way is cheating, with the exception of, at that time it was Mebkez Fledgy. So,
Yeah.
like, well, he grew up in America and he's getting his US citizenship and he's going to run for America after, like whatever, etc. So I don't have a problem recruiting. What I have a problem with is if you're recruiting kids outside of the United States just to bolster your team, and they have they don't have a genuine interest in either graduating or being here for an academic standpoint.
That's pretty presumptuous of you for you to think that the kids who came over are not interested
I'm
in
not
graduating.
saying, like I said, I don't think that this is pointed at anybody. I would like to see, for major schools, throw NAU in there. I'm pretty sure Harvard's graduation rate for their cross country team is probably 100%.
Probably pretty close, yeah, I would imagine.
I would imagine the exact same thing from Stanford.
Yeah.
So, and I would like to see it from NAU, but my best guess is their graduation rate is probably pretty close to 100% as well, because every good runner that I've seen there has been there for 5 years.
Yeah. That makes sense. I don't know. I mean, I would like to see like that's probably something that Katie would be interested in. Like that's something because she's all into data science right now. Like to see like schools that are more selective academically, who have good collegiate programs. Let's just talk about running and cross country, versus less selective schools that are like big as well. Like what the graduation rates for those, like just let's keep it to cross country teams are at what percentage they graduate. That would be pretty interesting information, I think.
So, I mean, I think if you just took the top 10 teams at NCAA,
Yeah.
like I would be interested to see what graduation rates are like here. So you've got Oklahoma State, which just like the most biased perspective ever, I don't think that their graduation rate is through the roof. It's the highest funded athletic program in the entire country. Thank you to T-Bone Pickens.
Yeah.
They have literally the highest funding out of any college in America.
Wow.
And so the goal of the highest funded program is winning.
That's it.
Like I don't think that their goal is graduating people. I hope that I'm 100% wrong with that.
So the thing is, though, like if they don't keep kids, I think it would become. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just like a warehouse where you keep kids for like 2 years and then get rid of them, and you just have a
They do it in basketball.
Yeah, constant strain. That's true. But cross country it's a different.
But if you're the highest funded program in the country, is their intent to keep kids for 4 years or to win national championship after national championship?
Well,
last year they lost on a tiebreaker.
If you win though with the kids you have, why would you go back to the drawing board every year? Because there's no guarantee.
Because if you have a turnover of 2 years for student athletes,
that's true. I don't know. I again, like you're right, but why wouldn't you build that culture, like to keep them there for 4 or 5 years, and like if you're already winning,
want the absolute. It's the same thing as basketball. You want the absolute best talent, whether they're there for a year.
Well, yeah, but just because there's a new talent doesn't mean that that's the best talent.
So why in basketball, like it's so synonymous with basketball, one and done. They're required to play 1 year in the NBA or in the NCAA before they can declare for the draft.
But that's not. Is that the case for cross country and track?
It is not, but how many of these kids need another 2 years to develop to be able to make their, like I forget who it is. I think it was the kid from.
But if these kids
Patrick Kiprop or something finished 17th at the World Cross Country Championships.
But how many? Well, that's the thing. How many of these kids truly need to come to college to make any kind of living by being runners? If they're already top in the nation.
So, do you think that like other than the top 3 guys at the World Cross Country Championships make any money? No.
I mean, no. But they can go but the thing is, like you mentioned, there's a ton of money out there in road races. They could go out and be successful there. Maybe. I just
don't
don't
know.
know the benefit of them coming over if they're not going to get the education.
I don't know. I mean, I guess that the answer would be in graduation rates.
Maybe I'm a little bit less jaded, I guess.
So, well, I'm quite jaded in that respect. So I don't believe it in Oklahoma State, and this is just a gut instinct and probably just
Well, it's
absolutely doused with bias. Northern Arizona, I could make it 50-50. I would probably lean 51% that they have a better graduation rate. BYU, I'm guessing their graduation rate is through the roof.
oh yeah.
Arkansas, I'm guessing their graduation rate is like the state, like
I
how
mean,
they rank from a national standpoint in education near the damn bottom.
that's right.
Iowa State, I don't believe has some crazy graduation rate. I would love to be proven wrong. North
I guess.
Carolina, prestigious school, I'm guessing their graduation rate is through the roof.
Yeah.
Texas, 50-50. Stanford, we already talked about it.
Yeah.
Syracuse, Wisconsin, I'm guessing both of them have decent graduation rates.
Huh. Sounds like there's a little bit of racism. Talk about all the all white schools are going to graduate all of their kids, and all the schools that are coming from predominantly not white places are not going to.
So Iowa isn't predominantly
Well,
white?
yes, Iowa. Outside of Iowa, the Arkansas, all that stuff, you're
Arkansas
gonna.
isn't predominantly white?
I don't know. I think it's less than you think it is.
Oklahoma?
Super not white.
What?
Calling a spade, Bradford.
I think if you look at the U.S., like in recruiting in the U.S., top cross country teams and runners, it's a country club sport.
Oh, 100%. Like I found there's a lot of money in cross country. The kids who generally run cross country. I was the poor folk when I ran. Like my family were super blue collar, but all of my friends, like in high school, all these super huge houses they lived in, drove all these nice cars, they didn't have to worry about going to college because their college was going to be funded by parents regardless. Like same thing goes with Same thing goes with like when I went to Winthrop. Most of the people who we ran with were pretty well off.
Yeah, I mean, well, I bet you it was 50-50 mix in fairness.
Yeah, but still, like pretty well. Like that's still pretty.
Like
I mean,
Growley's family was blue collar. His dad was a firefighter.
Dan's was not blue collar.
Lawyer.
Yeah. Was his mom a teacher?
Yeah, she just retired. Yep.
Okay.
You've got Lucas McCurdy. White collar as white collar gets.
Yep.
You got Matt, white collar.
Yeah. What about Wacky? I don't know Wacky's parents.
Blue collar. And then you had Justin Insco, who was as blue collar gets.
Dude, yeah.
You had Brandon, who was blue collar. Like our team was pretty half and half.
Yeah, maybe even more blue collar than not. I don't think that's common though.
I don't think it's common at all. Like when you look at the top programs in the country and the top runners in the country, they historically come from like affluent areas of whatever state that they're in.
And I don't understand that. I don't know how that connection is made. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's just like when I worked in retail or like as valet. Like I never understood how there would be nobody ever, and then you would have 55 people come in within the span of 2 minutes. Like I just don't know how that influx happens. Just like I don't understand how cross country and money like correlate. I don't understand the correlation there.
So my best guess is from a socioeconomic standpoint is if you come from a lower end of the socioeconomic spectrum and you're looking at sports as a way out and sports as an opportunity, who the fuck is looking at running as an opportunity to make money? So the opportunities for money are baseball, basketball, football.
Yeah.
And so when you look at like when you look at the socioeconomic impact of one of my good friends from high school was a professional NFL player for 8 years, and you'd ask him like, well, listen, like why is there a it's grossly disproportionate the number of NFL players that go bankrupt after they're out of the NFL. Like, how does that happen with the amount of money that you all make? And he said, he goes, well, look at the neighborhoods we all come from. Like, we come from shitty neighborhoods where life expectancies are, like 20s to maybe 30. Like, the old guy on the corner is 30 years old. We're all super competitive. So you put us in a room where there's one person that's making, $18 million a year, whether it's Brett Favre or whoever it is, and gets to drive in his Ferrari. Everybody wants to be that guy. So everybody spends like that they are that guy. And they have no idea. They've never heard of retirement because nobody in their neighborhood has ever retired before. He said, so it's 100% socioeconomic. Like when you go to college, the programs at University of Florida or whatever these major programs are, they're not teaching you life lessons of how to balance a checkbook. And when you get to the NFL, like you're spending your checks on whatever the hell you want. Nobody's telling you to save anything.
No. Yeah, I get that. That's a good point, Brad. That was thoughtful.
So, like, I think when you look at all of the country club sports, it's historically things, like running is the cheapest sport of all the sports to get into. So, but it's the least amount of money that's there to earn.
Yeah.
So if you're
professionals, even the best professionals, I mean, not the best, but the average professional is sometimes just barely making it by. Like if they're making $30K a year, they're just like, okay, what else do I have to do? Work at a running shop, like to
Terrence Harrington.
Yeah, exactly.
So an Olympian.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, running is not the avenue that if you want to retire on sports income, it's not going to be running.
I don't know, Brad. I'm still holding out hope.
Well, maybe things will change. So quickly so let's do some research for next week on these graduation rates. And then let's talk quickly about the women's race. Parker Valby and NC State. Yeah. Absolutely nuts out there. NAU loses by a point to NC State in the team championship.
Yeah.
I thought that, what'd you think of just watching the race?
Well, I was struck by, Parker Valby just fucking dominating.
That was pretty much the whole coverage. Like she was so far ahead. The entire camera was just filled with Parker Valby and how big the gap was.
And there was often not anybody, like near the later stages of the race, nobody was in the frame anymore. Like you just saw
the last K.
Well, yeah, but like for most of it, you're just like, where the hell is everybody else? Obviously Caitlin Toohey, kind of like disappointment for her and for many people. But
I thought she ran a really good race. She went from 12th back to 5th.
5th place is not too shabby. I wish I could say I was 5th place in the nation in cross country, but I'll never be able to say that.
Think of that. I mean, think of that for Caitlin Toohey, that's in like what a running resume you have. That 5th place at the NCAA championships.
Is this a senior?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a letdown. And that's, like from the field looking in, that is like, that's from the outside looking in, that seems like a failure. I think we both understand that it's completely not, but that was probably having the worst possible race ever. She looked uncomfortable from the get-go. She went all the way back to 12th, fought all the way back up to 5th. Yeah. 5th place was basically her worst day on a cross-country course to finish in the biggest race of the year. Like that is insane and a testament to how amazing she is as a runner.
I just think like maybe physically she's not where she wants to be or could be, but mentally she still has it. Like she's still mentally just a champion. Just some days you don't have it, or some seasons you don't have it, or whatever it may be. Like
I think she I think she blew a gasket through indoor season last year when she tried to triple up. And then
the whole indoor season, she was
every record.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she goes to outdoor and went for as dominant as she was, like completely backwards. She went, like underperformed from her standards in the 1500,
Yep.
then pulled out of the 5000 that gave Parker Valby her first national championship.
Yep.
And then immediately comes in and there's basically for her, there's 3 races that matter. It was like the Nutty Comb where she lost to Parker Valby, the ACC championships that she won. Like the regional for somebody like her probably doesn't matter that much. You're going, like they're probably training through regionals with as strong as their team is, and then nationals. So 2 out of the 3 races this year, on top of the end of track season being, like from her perspective, underperforming. To me, it all leads back to indoor track season of last year.
Yeah, I think you can only. I mean, she went deep to the well. I'm imagining a number of times indoor, and you can only do that so often, and you have to your body has to recover. And sometimes you think, oh, it's only a week, or you give yourself a month off, but sometimes maybe it's permanent. I don't even know. Some people just blow the doors off, and then they're never the same again.
I'd be interested to know if her training program changed at all, or if she upped volume, or even from a plyometric standpoint. Do you remember back in the day when, oh my God, why am I drawing a blank on his name? Who was old American record holder in the 16 and 15 from Virginia Beach?
Alan
Webb.
Not from Virginia Beach, but yeah, from Virginia.
So he thought that doing more and more plyometrics and lifting weights would help him get faster and faster.
Do you remember how freaking diesel he got? He was ripped up.
Yeah. And he just never that was kind of the downfall of Alan Webb.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, it doesn't look like, from a physical standpoint, it doesn't look like she's changed.
No.
But I'd be interested to know if they've tried adding something, or if this is literally some level of she just went to the well and she's going to need, nothing is linear. So maybe she just needs 18 months before she's back to what the expectation of Caitlin Toohey is.
Yeah, I just hope she's not done. I hope she doesn't just fade away. Not that she would fade away, but kind of just doesn't have the career I think she could potentially have. I just like her. I just like her mentality and her race. Her racing is pretty cool.
Well, it seemed like she was genuinely excited, but to win another women's team championship.
Oh, dude, I saw her reaction when they found out. Yeah, man, she's super stoked about that.
And so you think about it, one point, she could have arguably just as easily stayed back in 12th, and they would have lost by, 6 points at that point.
That's right. And then she would have taken it all on her own shoulders, whereas it could have been any number of her teammates who could have moved up even 2 spots and made up the difference, right? So, yeah.
I thought I thought the men's race was a way more exciting race. That the team aspect of the women's was really cool, but the coverage was just 100% dedicated to Caitlin or to Parker Valby.
Yeah, well, we need to tell her to stop that. Just stop that.
Well, I mean, it comes back to she's the shoes.
Of course it does, Brad.
It comes back to the shoes, and if you put an incentive, again, North Korean running rules here.
Yes.
Caitlin Toohey making up that many spaces in the last K,
I think
they might have had a runaway train with the team championship.
I mean, if we were talking 5 seconds per person, she makes up 6 spots. That's 30 seconds. How much did she lose to Parker Valby by?
I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
Was it under 30 seconds? Because if that's the case, then she just might very well be the national champion according to North Korea running rules.
Parker Valby ran 18:55. Caitlin Toohey 19:23. The 30 seconds would have nabbed her first place.
First place.
So
good job, Caitlin, national champion. North Korean rules.
It's all about the last K. It's the last 3 seconds. To hell with 2 and 3-pointers. We're going 8-pointers.
8-pointers. I like it. It's big time.
So, yeah. You make a 3-pointer without hitting the rim, that's a 4-pointer.
I like it. I think a full court shot, I mean,
Let's not go overboard here.
Brad,
I'm just wondering, like, when, like you've got the Steph Kerr 3, when he hits his 3, but then does he like early call the 4 before Kim Jong-un gives the
and if he doesn't he calls it wrong and he gets executed?
What? Jeez.
Can we put an extra basket above, like make it a 15 or 16-foot basket, so you hit that boy and
that doesn't make sense. It would need to be lower so it's easier to block but harder to get in, Jeremy.
Well, it's easier to get in, easier to block.
It's right, but with defenders and everything.
Well, 3 baskets then. You have one that's 20 feet in the air. That's high, Brad. And if you look, what happens if you get it through all 3?
And so
you get all those points.
So, but how does this relate to running? It's like if you run a 1600 and you stay in lane 8 and win.
Yes. You have to call it though. You have to call it before the race. I'm calling lane 4. That gives me an extra 7 seconds. What do you got?
Yeah. Try me.
That's right.
Try racing in lane 1. What if you're in lane 1 and then you have to immediately run out to lane 4?
Dude, people and you have to you can battle for a lane. So there's people just elbowing each other.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of a double waterfall start, how that would work.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess you would have 200 meters depending on the length. You'd have people 200 meters ahead of you, in a 5K to start.
Or maybe you throw in this could go in so many directions. It's time to call it an evening, Jeremy.
It is, Bradford. This was fun.
All right, buddy.
All right. Hey, guess what, Brad?
I'm guessing. Hold on. Let me guess. You love me.
I love you, man.
Love you too, bud.
All right, buddy.
See you, Briggity Bro Bob.
See you, Briggity Bro Bob.